Welcome to Physics of Music. I am really excited to get to teach this class. I know physics is usually not a class that many music majors take, and I know that many music majors don't come in with a significant math background. Maybe you had a great math experience, maybe you had a shoddy math experience, maybe you tried to avoid math as much as you could. One of the ways we're going to try to make this class more accessible to more people is by using some computer tools to handle the math for us. The biggest tool we're going to be using is something called a Jupyter notebook, which handles writing instructions for the computer to do the math for us. That's essentially what the definition of coding is. Coding is not something you need to be afraid of. It's not overly complicated, especially not when I am giving you the code that you will need to work with. So what you'll be able to find on our Canvas page is a link to a Google Drive folder called Physics of Music. And then within that folder, you'll see subfolders for each lab activity. So we're going to start by looking at lab activity 1 here. When you want to start lab activity 1, you just double click on this Physics of Music lab activity 1. This is a .ipynb file. That's the type of extension for a Jupyter notebook. You'll also see this little icon for Google Colab. Google Colab is a really cool program that works a lot like Google Docs that allows you to edit and document the code that you use. So when you double click on this, it should open a tab that looks kind of like this. I have my screen in dark mode for the sake of the video, but you might see it in light mode, so you might see the coloration look a little bit differently, but it should look something like this, where you have student learning outcomes, textbook chapters, and an introduction to Jupyter notebooks. If you don't see this, if you see a lot of gobbledygook on the screen, let me know. We might just need to authorize your account to access Google Colab. What you'll need to do when you first open any of these Google Colab documents is save your own copy. You cannot edit my original, which is good news because it means you cannot break it, but it also means you need to save your own copy that you can work with. In order to do that, you're going to click on File, and then scroll all the way down to Save a Copy in Drive. This is going to allow you to save your own copy. When you click on this button here, Save a Copy in Drive, it's going to open in a new tab your own copy. How do I know it's a copy? It says copy of right here at the top. Go ahead and click in here to rename it. So I might call this Brian's copy of Physics of Music Lab Activity 1, or I might put in my group names or my group number, or if I want to give my group a snazzy team name, I can do that. But once I have my own copy, I'm able to now edit this document. We'll talk about editing the document in a future video. But what you next want to do is find out where Colab has saved this. So typically when you make a copy of something in the Google Drive environment, it will place it in the same folder. Not so with Google Colab. Instead, what you want to do is click on File and go to this first item here, Locate in Drive. This is going to open a new tab that will show you where this Colab document, this Jupyter notebook, is located in your Google Drive system. Now mine default to this folder called Colab Notebooks. I think yours should default to the same thing, but it might be different. They might have changed that default by now. What will happen is it will highlight your copy. I've renamed mine, so it's now moved over here, but it should have your copy of this Colab document highlighted. You won't have as many as I have because I obviously work with this a lot. This should be your only file in this folder. And then what you can do is move this just like you would any other file in Google Drive. You can right click it, click on Move To, and that will open this interface for you to click on All Locations, click on My Drive, and then go find or create a folder for our course. So maybe you have a folder called Physics of Music. You could then select that folder and move it there. It's not going to change anything about the Jupyter notebook that's already open in this tab. It's just going to relocate it. So that is how you can open and save your own copy of a Jupyter notebook. In the next video, we'll take a look at how you can share your Jupyter notebook with me for when you run into questions.